Yeah, good day viewers. And Engineer Kingsley, popularly known as the Son of Man. And currently, I'm the CEO of Son of Man's Tutorial, also referred to as the Brain Builder. Now, my purpose of coming here today is to nail and bury and even destroy whatsoever has to do with organic chemistry 1 and organic chemistry 2. It has been giving student problem both in WAEC and in JAM. So I've decided to nail it today. That's why you are seeing me here. Now, the topic you can all see is what is referred to as organic chemistry 1. Although we have organic chemistry 1, we also have organic chemistry 2. Yes, today I'll be taking it step by step to facilitate easy understanding. Now, before I start, what is organic chemistry? There is need for me to first of all have a better understanding about the topic, which is called organic chemistry. Now, organic chemistry can be defined as what? As the study of carbon compounds. I repeat, organic chemistry can be defined as what? As the chemistry or as the study of what? Of carbon compounds. Now, the truth is, aside the oxides of carbon, there was the charged carbonate 4 of carbon and the metallic carbides. When I'm talking about the oxide of carbon, I'm referring to CO2 and of course CO. So the both of them are collectively referred to as what? As inorganic compounds of carbon. We also have the charged carbonate 4, which are referred to as, for example, you can say potassium, charged carbonate 4, or sodium, charged carbonate 4. You can see the charged carbonate 4, the oxide of carbon, and of course the metallic carbides. When I say metallic carbides, I'm referring to the compounds that are formed when metals tends to react with carbon. Let's take, for example, if calcium reacts with carbon, you will have what we call calcium carbide, which is called CaC2. Yes, Ca happens to be the calcium there, and what your C is called, the carbon, which is the element. So you can see that now we cannot refer to these compounds as organic compounds, even though carbons actually combine with other elements. That doesn't mean they are referred to as organic compounds. So what are they referred to as in that case? All these compounds of carbon you see on the board, they are all referred to as what? Inorganic compounds of carbon. Now, what about, that means, aside the oxides, the charged carbonate 4 and the metallic carbides, any other compounds of carbon you see, they are grouped in this part of chemistry, which is referred to as what? Organic chemistry. It simply means that if truly it happens to be the study of carbon compounds, that means there are some properties carbon is having that will enable carbon to form numerous organic compounds. And what are some of these properties? That is what we're going to look at now. To start with first, the first property is going to be a property which is called catenation. Let me write it in block letter, catenation. Yeah, what is catenation? The question here is, what is catenation? Now, catenation simply means the exceptional ability for carbon atoms to combine with one another to form a straight chain, a branch chain, and a closed chain. When I'm talking about a straight chain, this is what a straight chain is. You have something like this. You see carbon combining with itself to form a chain. Although this is the skeletal form of it, so we can say this chain you have on the board is referred to as what? As a straight chain. And what about in terms of branch chain? You will now see something like this. You see carbon atoms also linking with one another to form a chain as this. And when you see this chain will be referred to as what? As a branch chain. You can see, of course, the chain is not straight. Now, again, there is another property again you will see, which is still not only a straight chain, a branch chain. Carbon also has this property of combining with itself to form a closed chain, or sometimes we can call it what? A ring. Now, although we are going to see it when the time comes, you see one which is like this, you can see that the chain is what? Is already a closed chain. Now, although we have something like this, yes, this is as in the case of what? Of benzene. A benzene which is meant to be an aromatic compound. That's what we're going to look at when the time comes. So when we talk about catenation, it is the ability for carbon atoms to combine with one another to form a straight chain, a branch chain, and a closed chain. Now again, what about the other property of carbon? The second property of carbon that we have here will now be based on the ability for carbon atoms to combine with each other to form a single bond. This is what we call, when we say single bond, we are talking about a carbon to carbon single bond. Now, of course, carbon can also combine to form a double bond or multiple bonds. When we say double bond, it simply means something like this is carbon to carbon double bond. What about for triple bond? This is called carbon to carbon triple bond. Although those that have single bond are normally referred to as what they are called the alkanes. Those that have double bond they are called the alkenes. They are called the alkenes, and these ones are called the alkynes. That's what we're going to see when we want to go into organic chemistry fully. So this is called what the alkynes. Now, since we have seen these properties, there's another property again. What is that property called? It simply means that the exceptional ability again for carbon to combine with other elements. I am not saying that carbon can only combine with carbon. Of course, carbon has this property of combining with other elements. Yes, carbon can combine with hydrogen, it can combine with oxygen, it can combine with what? Nitrogen, it can combine with the halogens. When I say the halogens, I'm talking about the group 7 elements, which are what? We have chlorine, we have bromine, we have fluorine, we have iodine, and we also have astatine. You see, so carbon can combine with those elements. Carbon can even combine with what? With the alkali earth metals, and can also combine with which are the alkali earth metals are actually referred to as what? The group 2 metals, while the alkali metals are referred to as what? The group 1 metals. Then you have sodium and water and potassium. But when we say the alkaline earth metals, we are referring to as what? The group 2 or the group 2 elements. Where you have the water, you have the calcium, you have the water, you have the magnesium. Now, if I'm saying it, it will look as if I'm just saying this, maybe I'm speaking Swahili. But not until you see it on the board, then you now have a clear picture of what I'm trying to say. You can see compounds like this. For example, we have CH3, COOH, where you have CH3, CO, NH2, where you have C2, H5, Cl, where you have CH3, COONA, where you have C2H5, HSO4. Then you now start seeing that indeed, all these are some of the things I'm actually talking about. Here, this compound is called ethanoic acid. Of course, not a very bad word which says, and it was tasty and tasty. They did vinegar to drink. Yes, this is called ethanoic acid, which is probably what obtained from what they call what? From vinegar. You get it? It's called ethanoic acid, and this is what the source is called vinegar. Now, what about this guy? This is called, we call it what? We can call this guy ethanamide. It's called what? Ethanamide. To call the long story short, you see that carbon combined with hydrogen, oxygen, and of course nitrogen is what is also here as an element. Then what is this guy called? This is called, we call it what? Chloroethane. We call it what? Chloroethane. Now, why is it called chloroethane? You can see that here, carbon is actually combining with hydrogen and what? And of course an halogen which is called chlorine is present here. Now, what about this guy? This is called sodium ethanoate. Yes, it's called sodium ethanoate. What is the metal there? The metal there is what is called sodium, and why we also have oxygen and water and hydrogen in this system. Then again, if you look at this guy, this is called a powerful ester, which is called ethyl hydrogen sulfate 6. Here, you can see carbon combining with hydrogen, and of course what? Sulfur, and even what? Even oxygen. So all these are some of the properties you've seen that what? These are some properties assigned to carbon that enables you to form what? Numerous what? Organic compounds. And I want to believe maybe within a short period of time, we now understand what they call organic chemistry. With the text of definition, we are able to at least classify organic compounds and also what? Inorganic compounds of carbon. Of course, if I have to go back to what I have said before now, I made us understand that the oxide of carbon, the transcarbonate form, and the metallic carbides, they are collectively referred to as what? Inorganic compounds of carbon. The why the other ones we have seen on the board here, they are actually referred to as what? Organic compounds of carbon, even though we have not gone deep into it first. But I want to believe that some of us here, those that are writing WAEC and JAM, and those that are actually what? In various institutions, probably level in what? In various institutions like, I don't know any of the Nigerian universities, you are able to at least know some of the properties of carbon now that enables you to form numerous organic compounds. I said the first one is what is catenation, second one is what is the ability to form what? A single bond, of course, double bond, and triple bond. And again, what is the other one again we saw? The ability for carbon atoms to combine with other elements which are already listed. So please, I think to cut the long story short, I think we have to end here for today. Let's call it a day. In my next class or in my next video, please, I am going to be running what we call the properties and some of the characteristics of organic compounds. It will be clearly explained. After that, I'm going to talk about homologous series. After homologous series, I'm going to talk about what isomerism. Trust me, and within a short period of time, maybe I want to believe everybody will be able to at least destroy and conquer whatever has to do with organic chemistry. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I still remain your best tutor, which is called Engineer Kingsley Ife, popularly known as the Son of Man. Good day, students.